CBS 2's Chris Ty is also outside the courthouse where protesters have been all day. Chris, within the past hour, police moved in to make an arrest.
That's right, Erica. A punchy atmosphere among protesters outside the courthouse steps here, which has served as a stage for folks with a myriad of viewpoints. Let's roll some video from just after 4 o'clock this afternoon. This was the arrest that Erica was talking about. Kenosha police haven't confirmed exactly what led up to it. Witnesses telling CBS 2 one protester apparently punched a sign out of the hands of another. It began an altercation, which led to that arrest. We've reached out to Kenosha police to see if indeed there was just this one, whether or not this has been the first so far during this trial, and whether or not there are any other details they can provide. We have not heard back. Take a look at this. This was from this morning. Someone showed up at the courthouse steps with a rifle in their hand. Authorities came up to this individual, told him you can't do this because there's a school inside of a problematic radius. So he left, came back apparently unarmed, and joined what turned into a group from between 12 at one point to about 100 people throughout the day. These are folks who have opinions ranging from make Kyle Rittenhouse a scapegoat, Kyle is guilty, Black Lives Matter, the whole tapestry of opinions here. Many of these folks broadcasting on their own social media platforms. And we should point this out, too. The National Guard is not on the ground in Kenosha, but as these pictures show, they are prepared in case they are called upon. About 60 miles away is this staging site. About 500 members of the Wisconsin National Guard are ready in case local authorities say they need their help. As of this hour, there is still no plan to put a curfew in place or close any streets. Live at the Kenosha County Courthouse, Chris Ty, CBS 2 News.
Chris, thank you.
When the Rittenhouse verdict comes down, be the first to know by signing up to get CBS 2 alerts on your phone. We'll carry that decision live right here on CBS 2 and on our streaming network, CBSN Chicago.
Now a real-time check of the rain wrapping up right now. A live look at Chris Kindle Market on Daly Plaza. It opens Friday. Meteorologist Mary Kay Kleist is tracking cold air rushing in. Mary Kay.
Oh, it was so mild this morning, Erica, as we began our day in the 60s. 61 was our official high temperature, but we've been falling fast. We're in the 40s now, 48 in the Loop. Still have rain around northwest Indiana through Kankakee and some sprinkles into DeKalb, but all of that rain is starting to move away from the city. Lower West Side 49, Logan Square 50, Harwood Heights 49 degrees. It is going to be cold tonight. When the rain moves out, the cold air moves in. We start feeling like 20 tomorrow morning in McHenry. Basically plan for 20s all day long for a feels like temperature. I'll let you know how many days of this we can expect when I come back.
Mary Kay, thank you. Now to a CBS 2 exclusive. For the first time, we are hearing from the family of Janiah Murphy. The 21-year-old was found strangled in her Wheeling apartment. 2 days later, a construction crew found her little baby, 1-year-old daughter's body in a Hammond retention pond. Today, Janiah's mother and cousin spoke only to CBS 2's Suzanne Le-Mignot. Suzanne, they revealed new details about Janiah's relationship with her accused killer.
Brad, they both tell me that in February, she had broken up with the man now suspected of killing her, but they started dating again. Well, her family believes that she was murdered because he was jealous.
Oh, Janiah was a sweetheart.
Janiah Murphy's grandmother describes her as a loving, kind, and gentle person who would help anyone in need.
She's very smart, very intelligent young lady that believed that everybody in the world was good, that nobody would hurt her, so she had no fear of people.
Janiah's grandmother, Linda Murphy, says Janiah started dating Emil Fowler in January of this year. In February, the two were out, and Janiah ran into a male high school friend.
And she stopped to talk to him. And afterwards, I understand this man became enraged, and he choked her. And so she broke up with him at that time. So I don't know how they reconnected.
Murphy says her granddaughter and great-granddaughter spent the day with Fowler last Monday. They had gone shopping. Janiah told family members about buying winter clothing for her 17-month-old daughter, Jacqueline Angel Dobbs. She says Angel meant the world to Janiah.
She was happy, she was laughing, she was excited about what she had bought.
After Fowler brought them home, Murphy says a male co-worker called to speak to Janiah.
We believe that after that conversation and him knowing she was talking to a male, that's when he killed her. He strangled her.
2 days after Janiah was found dead in her Wheeling apartment, her daughter Angel's body was discovered in a Hammond retention pond.
It's unthinkable. It's unthinkable. And when the police did catch him, he still had her car seat in the van. It's beyond me.
Both Jania's grandmother and cousin, Daryl Glover Sr., are pastors. They're using their platforms to empower young women who may be facing what Jania was going through. This is the second family member they've lost to domestic violence.
Some women, they're afraid to speak out, but the power of prayer is what we'll be doing, trusting and believing God. He's going to do exceedingly and abundantly above more than we can ask or think.
Fowler has been charged with Jania's murder. Her family has now set up an account to cover the unexpected cost of 2 funerals now, one for Jania and the other for her 17-month-old daughter. We have a link to that fund on our website at cbschicago.com. Suzanne Lemignot, CBS 2 News.
New at 5, a deadly high-speed police chase is costing Chicago taxpayers $2 million. City Council approved the massive settlement today as part of a lawsuit surrounding this 2018 crash. A driver being chased by police struck 2 pedestrians near 79th and Lafayette, including 55-year-old Julia Calloway, killed on her way to pick up her granddaughter from daycare. Calloway's family sued the city, claiming the high-speed chase was reckless.
So-called QAnon shaman who stormed the U.S. Capitol with a spear and a horned hat will spend 41 months in prison for his role in the January 6th insurrection. With his clothing and face paint, Jacob Chansley was one of the most recognizable rioters at the Capitol. During his sentencing hearing, he told a federal judge his actions were wrong and he accepts responsibility. Chansley says he has since denounced the conspiracy theories of the QAnon movement.
The FDA is expected to authorize the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine booster for all adults as soon as tomorrow. In September, Pfizer got the green light to give boosters to anyone 65 or older and those at high risk for COVID. So far in Illinois, more than 1.4 million people have gotten their booster shot. The timing is critical. Take a look at this map from the state health department. All the counties in red have high transmission rates of COVID-19. Only a few counties are yellow with moderate transmission.
He's a former NFL player who has a top job with Chicago Public Schools.
Get up every morning to help kids, to find a way to make it better.
Coming up, the man who's leading the very program that enriched his life decades ago.
And now another live look outside the Kenosha County Courthouse. Day 2 of deliberations wrapping up about 40 minutes ago. Jurors will be back in the courthouse tomorrow morning, and we will be there too.
Beat the Black Friday crowds with huge savings this weekend at Ashley Home Store. Save 25% off your first item plus 20% off the rest of your purchase. Plus, enter to win in our $50,000 furniture giveaway. Friday through Monday only at Ashley Home Store.
Wherever your journey takes you this winter, get away with our best deals of the season. Right now, get huge savings on the entire lineup of award-winning Hyundai vehicles at the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. With new cars arriving just in time for the holidays, it's the perfect time to get a Hyundai.
Now choose 0% APR financing or sign and drive on our most popular models. Visit buyhyundai.com today.
At Loyola Medicine, our doctors believe that the science of healing and the science of kindness work together. They treat certain cancers with brachytherapy, targeting cancer cells directly with radiation without damaging the surrounding healthy tissue. They also take the time to connect with patients and encourage them, because when patients feel better, they heal better. That's the science of kindness, where feeling is believing. Learn more at loyolamedicinecancer.org.
It's game time, baby! And you're just lying there? Watching on the couch? That's not gonna cut it. You need to get in the game with BetRivers Sportsbook. There you go. Now you're live in the action. Live in-game bets, live player props, and live instant betting. Bucket to bucket!
What happened here?
Don't just watch the game. Get in the game with BetRivers Sportsbook.
Beat the Black Friday crowds and save big this weekend at Ashley Home Store. Friday through Monday only. Save 25% off your first item plus 20% off the rest of your purchase. Or get 0% interest for 5 years with no money down at Ashley Home Store.
The media plays.
What happened to you?
What is going on here?
I need help.
Tried to reach out, I got no response.
And I was wondering if you could help me like you've helped so many other people.
The new CBS Chicago app is the best way to get award-winning investigations, breaking live coverage, help with a new career,
Or unemployed.
whenever, wherever, with just one tap. It's all on CBS Chicago.
From Englewood to a top job with Chicago Public Schools and a stop in the NFL along the way.
Mickey Pruitt returns to the football field to share his story with our Jim Williams.
Do you ever get the urge to run down the sideline? No, I don't. Not now.
Mickey Pruitt's playing days are decades in the past, but the lessons he learned on the football field shape his work today as director of sports for the Chicago Public Schools.
Individually, everybody is a winner because they're on the field playing.
Pruitt oversees 23 sports with tens of thousands of CPS athletes, guiding the very program that enriched his life as a teenager here in Chicago.
My whole family is basketball players.
You're the outlier.
I'm the outlier.
What an outlier. Pruitt was an all-state halfback and safety at Robeson High School in Englewood. He fielded lots of college scholarship offers before choosing to play at the University of Colorado.
Going there, looking at the mountains, sunny, it was beautiful.
After a stellar college career, the NFL came calling. Pruitt was thrilled to play for the Bears.
Coming from Chicago, playing with Chicago Bears, coming out the tunnel the first time. Unbelievable.
He won a Super Bowl with the Dallas Cowboys. Did I see a Super Bowl ring?
Yeah, we got. I luckily got one.
Back in 1999, Mickey Pruitt was living and coaching in Hawaii. He left the year-round warm temperatures to return to Chicago, convinced he could make a big impact in his hometown, earning the respect of veteran coaches like Ernest Ratcliffe.
He really wanted to be here to share his knowledge and give everybody an opportunity and inspiration to be the next Mickey Pruitt.
This month, Pruitt earned another accolade. He was inducted into the University of Colorado Athletic Hall of Fame.
I just said, wow. I mean, it's a great feeling. It's a great honor.
These days, Mickey Pruitt says he begins his morning with one goal.
Get up every morning to help kids, to find a way to make it better.
A life's calling at home.
That's what we're here for.
In Englewood, Jim Williams, CBS 2 News.
What a journey. Well, Mickey Pruitt's parents were educators. He's married with 2 kids of his own.
I'm meteorologist Mary Kay Kleist. After a morning start in the 60s, we can see that cold air intrusion now. It is poised to move into the Chicago area as our front moves out, and that allows temperatures to crash tonight. Tomorrow, wind chill values will be in the 20s all day long, and we will see sunshine early, but then turning cloudy by the afternoon hours tomorrow with some winds picking up as well. So our high today officially at O'Hare was 61 degrees this morning. We've been falling all afternoon. We're down to 49, and we're going to continue falling as we move through the night. The position of the front now moving through northern Indiana. It is opening the door for that return flow. This chilly air mass starting to pull in on that northwesterly wind component. So any showers along the front will be moving out as the cold air moves in. So on radar tonight, really Indiana is the focus for this rain. Also into Kankakee County. You can see the darker greens indicating near Valparaiso, where we have some concentrated rain in Lowell, St. John, Manteno. All of this rain will be with you in Indiana probably for a couple more hours before it tapers off for us. And then temperatures take a dive, especially once the skies clear tonight. That means we'll fall into the 20s to start the day in DeKalb. 30 degrees in the Fox River Valley, 32 in Gary. Sunshine to start. We will see clouds increase throughout the course of the afternoon. And even though we're plotting the upper 30s, with those those winds that will be gusty out of the west, that is going to generate some very cold air. So actually all day long you have to plan for the 20s as far as it feels like temperature. Anywhere between about 25 and 29 degrees will be a good average for us. So the wind chill values will hang with us all day long. We start with clear skies and sunshine, and we build the cloud deck throughout the afternoon for us, but we do stay dry. Now, as we peek at the weekend, I'm seeing temperatures rise into the upper 40s. Saturday's dry. Extra clouds will be with us, though, and then on Sunday, a shower chance will be with us, about a 30% chance of rain. So for that kickoff at noon, we have that shower chance, a mostly cloudy sky, and a temperature to kick off at 47 degrees. The actual high will touch 49. I think some of that rain, if the moisture is still hanging around at night for that next cold front, it could change over to some light snow ending early Monday. Monday's the cold one, though, Brad and Erica. 33, that's it for the high temperature.
All right. Yes, thank you, Mary Kay.
Can't wait. All new at 6, boarded up and businesses are shuttered and storefronts tonight. What a proposed red line extension means for some South Side neighborhoods on Hour 18 at 6 o'clock.
Injured in a car accident? Larry wins.
This holiday at Metro by T-Mobile, the big 5G upgrade just got better. Now with the largest selection of free 5G phones, like the Samsung Galaxy 5G. Plus, get one line of unlimited smartphone data for just $25 a month, with 5G included at no extra cost. All with the power of the T-Mobile 5G network. A free 5G phone and unlimited 5G. That's how you get more for the holidays. From the leader in prepaid, only at Metro.
Hungry? Don't let a mountain get in your way. And if it tries, that's what our lineup of all-wheel drive SUVs is for. After all, we take this pretty seriously. The SUVs and the dinner.
I served as a United States Marine for 8.5 years. I was a Chicago firefighter for 29 years. Lost some very dear friends to COVID. That's why I called the hotline.
I was working on a hotline, and I recognized that voice. Do you know who this is on the other line? It's Karen.
I feel so much safer having gotten the vaccine.
Time and Temp brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Reminding you open enrollment is underway right now, and there's no better time to sign up for healthcare coverage you can trust around the clock, through it all.
Hungry? Don't let a mountain get in your way. And if it tries, that's what our lineup of all-wheel drive SUVs is for. After all, we take this pretty seriously. The SUVs and the dinner.
CBS 2 Sports is sponsored by Vivid Seats. Life happens live.
Vivid Seats, your ticket to soul-raising, heart-racing, 100 beats per minute. What are we wearing? Once-in-a-lifetime memories in the making, bumps like a goose brisket for tailgating, reach for the universe, rapid breathing, can't catch my breath, top of lungs singing. This is it. The moment is now. Can you believe it? Wow. Get your tickets at Vivid Seats. Life happens live.
Marshall Harris here. Last year, the Bears lost 6 in a row before coming up with enough wins to make the playoffs. They're trying to stop this streak at 4. Matt Zahn at Hallis Hall on Justin Fields trying to pick up where he left off before the bye.
Justin Fields is getting ready for another marquee quarterback matchup Sunday, this time against the Ravens' Lamar Jackson, one of the best athletes to ever play the position. Fields has been studying Jackson's game since before he was even in the NFL.
When I was in college, I would, turn on his highlights and just kind of studied how he kind of ran the read option, how his feet were. There's not many guys who are like Lamar Jackson. I mean, you should just call it what it is. I mean, he does stuff that, some receivers, running backs can't even do. It just shows that, it's kind of a new wave coming in, and, athletic guys can play quarterback also.
Miami provided a bit of a blueprint to stop Jackson last week, blitzing him relentlessly. The Bears can use that, but also know he's still a big challenge to slow down.
I think that playing him, you realize, man, the speed that you see on film and the speed on game, man, he's even faster in game-like situations. You know, the speed is there on film, but when you see him live in person, man, dude can run.
Jackson was actually sent home from Ravens practice with an illness. Their head coach, John Harbaugh, does not believe it is COVID-related. Covering the Bears at Hallis Hall, Matt Zahn, CBS 2 News.
The A-team of Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, Tracy Wolfson, they'll be calling Sunday's noon kick on CBS 2, and then join me along with Matt Zahn, Jackie Kostick, former Bear Jason McKee for the post-game show. Well, the votes are in, and White Sox pitcher Lance Lynn did not have enough to win the American League Cy Young Award. Tampa Bay's Robbery winning the award after leading qualifying pitchers in the league in WAR, ERA, innings, and strikeouts. Lynn's 11-6 record and a 2.69 ERA in 157 innings. Good enough, though, to finish in the top 3 along with Garrett Cole. There is always next year for both him and the White Sox.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we do have that. Thank you, Marshall.
Glad we finally did this.
Me too.
Michelle is merrily scratching an instant ticket from the Illinois lottery. Because even though her hayride went haywire, she knows anyone could win in an instant.
The first ever Genesis GV70. Proud to be named Motor Trend's 2022 SUV of the Year.
CBS Eye on Health, sponsored by Amita Health. Robotic-assisted surgery is a new and powerful tool in the hands of experienced specialists, like Dr. Justin LaRue, an orthopedic surgeon and co-medical director of the Amita Health Center for Advanced Joint Replacement in LaGrange.
Our center focuses on patient safety and outcomes. This robotic technology enables us to optimize and prepare the bone for the implant. Using the computer screen connected to the robotic arm, surgeons introduce the implant with precision and adjust the implant to the patient's individual anatomy. This technology enables us to double check for the right fit and tension, so patients end up with a natural feeling joint that allows them to enjoy being active again.
To learn more or to schedule an appointment with a joint replacement specialist, visit amitahealth.org/joint or call 833-685-6468, 833-NU-JOINT.
Think premium can't be capable? Think again. Introducing the first ever AT4 lineup. Premium and capable. That's professional grade from GMC.
Get over $2,000 purchase cash on 2021 Sierra Light Duty Crew Cab models. Plus, current eligible GMC owners get an additional $250 purchase allowance.
Glad we finally did this. Me too.
Michelle is merrily scratching an instant ticket from the Illinois lottery. Because even though her hayride went haywire, she knows anyone could win in an instant.
All new tonight at 10.
He was shot multiple times on the job just weeks ago. Tonight, the huge response of support for a Northwest suburban community. How neighbors are rallying around this police officer injured in the line of duty. It's new tonight at 10. Some unique athletes are making their way into the record books today.
Yeah, it is Guinness World Records Day around the globe. People are attempting to pull off some amazing and weird stunts like this Florida man, setting a new world record for the most consecutive cars jumped over on a pogo stick, bouncing over 5 cabs.
It looks fun. And watch this British gymnast breaking his own record for the farthest backflip between 2 horizontal bars. That's impressive. Flying nearly 20 feet through the air.
Yeah, like a young Mary Kay. And here's an odd one from China.
This is Mary Kay for sure, on her hands.
Oh, yeah, this is her. This is the fastest time to pull a car 50 meters while walking on your hands. Just a few of the athletes you'll now see in the Guinness book.
Next ET, we're with the House of Gucci stars at their fashionable New York premiere.
I was really proud to be able to step into those shoes.
Plus, our David Duchovny exclusive. Next ET.
Tonight at 6:30 on CBS 2. The CBS 2 investigators. They go after injustice. If you've been wronged, call 312-899-2250 or email cbs2investigators@cbs.com. The CBS 2 investigators. They get results.
Bet Rivers is Chicago's hometown sportsbook. Bet Rivers is proud to be the official sports betting partner of the Chicago Bears. Sign up now and we'll match your first deposit up to $250. More bets, more action, more fun. Place your sports bets at betrivers.com.
Right now, we're breaking down late details in the murder of an armored truck security guard. Chicago police just telling us they arrested a 19 and 21-year-old for the robbery and killing. 47-year-old guard, LaShonda Hartz, died after being shot 6 times. Another guard was wounded. Police say the guards were wounded in the shootout as they loaded an ATM in West Chatham Monday. The 2 gunmen then allegedly turned on 2 other people involved in the robbery and killed them. More on Hour 18 coming up at 6.
Rain is on the way out, but we still have it here in Kankakee County and into northwest Indiana. But over the next couple of hours, we will see it move out. The cold air will rush in, and tomorrow morning it starts feeling like the 20s and it ends feeling like the 20s. So cold air, Parks in Place.
Thanks, Mary Kay.
Your local news continues on our streaming network, CBS in Chicago. You can find it on the CBS Chicago app.
Or through the CBS News app on your mobile device or smart TV. Thanks for joining us. It's 5 o'clock. We'll see you back here on the TV at 6 for Hour 18.
Tonight, the courtroom drama and the surprising turn in the trial over Ahmaud Arbery's killing. The man accused of murdering the 25-year-old jogger takes the stand in his own defense. Travis McMichael, one of 3 men on trial, explains why he shot Ahmaud Arbery.
I want to give my side of the story.
Jail time for the so-called QAnon shaman, the January 6th rioter sentenced to more than 3 years in prison. Tonight, his extraordinary speech likening himself to Jesus and Gandhi, the judge's reaction. Historic censure. Congress votes to rebuke a Republican lawmaker after he's depicted killing Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez in an anime video posted on his Taxpayer account. Overdose deaths skyrocket. The number of Americans killed reaches a record high during the pandemic. How fentanyl is fueling the crisis. Rittenhouse verdict watch, the latest from Kenosha, Wisconsin. Thanksgiving travel alert. New details on a major storm expected to slam the U.S. just as millions hit the road for the holiday. Supply chain crisis, our rare access to one of the world's busiest ports, where workers tell us why it takes so long to get products from ships to shelves. And that 10-year-old who tried to take Pope Francis's cap. Tonight, his mother tells us about the miracle that came next.
This is the CBS Evening News with Norah O'Donnell, reporting from the nation's capital.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. We want to begin with testimony today from the man who shot and killed Ahmaud Arbery. Travis McMichael is accused of murder along with his father and a neighbor who chased Arbery through their Georgia neighborhood before killing him. The men say they suspected Arbery of burglaries and were attempting to make a citizen's arrest. McMichael told the judge that he wanted to tell his side of the story, and he teared up as he described the moment he fired his shotgun 3 times at the unarmed 25-year-old, calling it a life-or-death situation. McMichael says he fired in self-defense when Arbery tried to take his gun. Prosecutors say there's no evidence of Arbery committing crimes in the neighborhood to justify the chase and the deadly encounter. Arbery's killing has prompted Georgia lawmakers to repeal most of the state's citizens' defense law. CBS's Omar Villafranca leads off our coverage from the courthouse in Brunswick, Georgia. Good evening, Omar.
Good evening. A bit of a surprise that Travis McMichael took the stand. Only time we'd really heard from him was 911 calls or police body cam video. But today, he gave his version of what happened.
I want to give my side of the story. I want to explain what happened.
Instead of invoking the Fifth, Travis McMichael gave the jury a first-person account of what he says happened the day he shot and killed Ahmaud Arbery. McMichael broke down crying as he described the final deadly confrontation captured on cell phone video as a fight for his life.
What were you thinking at that moment?
I was thinking of my son. It sounds weird, but that was the first thing that hit me.
What did you do?
I shot.
Why?
He had my gun.
On February 23, 2020, his father, Gregory McMichael, spotted Arbery running from a home under construction. The younger McMichael says he grabbed a shotgun and jumped into his truck with his father. Prosecutors have argued that the McMichaels and William Roddy Bryan chased Arbery through the neighborhood after suspecting him of burglary.
Did you want to stop Ahmaud Arbery and talk to him?
I did.
McMichael also talked about his law enforcement training while in the Coast Guard and mentioned how pulling a weapon on someone can make them comply. During cross-examination, prosecutor Linda Dunikoski discussed his point further.
So you learned as part of your time in the military that you can't force people to speak with you.
That's correct.
Okay. And that if someone walks away, you have to let them walk away.
Yes.
You were trained that displaying a weapon may be considered psychological coercion.
Under certain situations, yes, ma'am.
Arbery's mother, Wanda Cooper Jones, was asked about McMichael crying in court. Her response, "Can you imagine the tears we have shed?" Cross-examination of McMichael will continue tomorrow. Nora?
Omar Villafranca, thank you. And we want to turn now to a dramatic and historic day at the U.S. Capitol. Republican Congressman Paul Gosar of Arizona became only the 24th member in the history of the House of Representatives to be censured. Gosar earlier this month shocked his fellow lawmakers, posting a violent animated video targeting Democrats. Here's CBS's Chris Van Cleve.
Will Representative Gosar present himself in the well?
Tonight, a historic rebuke on the House floor after controversial Arizona Congressman Republican Paul Gosar posted an anime video depicting himself flying through the air and killing Democrat Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and then heading for President Biden wielding two swords.
Representative Paul Gosar of Arizona be censured.
Gosar is now the first member of Congress to be simultaneously censured and stripped of his committee posts.
I do not espouse violence towards anyone. I never have. It was not my purpose to make anyone upset.
Gosar's censure, a punishment just short of expulsion from Congress, was pushed by dozens of House Democrats, including Ocasio-Cortez.
When we incite violence with depictions against our colleagues, that trickles down into violence in this country.
Republican leader Kevin McCarthy called the vote an abuse of power.
The Speaker is burning down the House on her way out the door.
Republicans Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger joined all House Democrats in voting yes. House censures are rare, happening only 6 other times in the last century. Gosar is an ardent Trump supporter who has spread baseless claims of election fraud and falsely called January 6th Antifa provocation. His own family has called for his removal from office, even appearing in a campaign ad for his 2018 opponent.
We got to stand up for our good name.
Also tonight, a federal judge in Washington sent a message sentencing the so-called QAnon shaman Jacob Chansley to nearly 3.5 years in prison, calling his actions horrific. Chansley is one of the most recognizable figures on January 6th, wearing face paint, fur, and horns. He told the judge, "I was wrong for entering the Capitol. I have no excuse, and the behavior is indefensible." And tonight, Steve Bannon, who is facing criminal contempt of Congress charges for refusing to cooperate with the January 6th committee, is pleading not guilty. He is set to be in court tomorrow for what's described as a virtual hearing. Nora?
Chris Van Cleve with all the news here in Washington. Thank you. And 2 days of deliberations in the Kyle Rittenhouse trial are over tonight, and the jury in Kenosha, Wisconsin, has not reached its verdict. National Guard troops are standing by as the city holds its breath, awaiting a decision on the teenager's fate for shooting 3 people, killing 2 at a violent protest. CBS's Nancy Chen is at the courthouse.
Against your Second Amendment right to defend yourself.
A crowd of demonstrators grew Wednesday on the steps of the Kenosha County Courthouse as inside, Kyle Rittenhouse's defense team asked for a mistrial. The argument concerning this drone footage showing Rittenhouse shooting and killing Joseph Rosenbaum. Rittenhouse's lawyers say they only recently learned there was higher quality video.
We're talking about a potential life sentence here. So I'm making that request.
Jurors asked to see the video in their second day of deliberations, along with several others. Rittenhouse faces 5 counts, including first-degree intentional homicide for killing 2 men and seriously injuring another. With no verdict, residents like Scott Carpenter hope to avoid a repeat of the violence that engulfed parts of Kenosha and burned his family-owned furniture store to the ground.
I pray that it stays peaceful, that cooler heads will prevail, and we realize that burning down our town is not how to act.
And the judge has yet to rule on the defense's motion for a mistrial today or on a previous request for one. In total, jurors have been deliberating for about 16 hours and will be back tomorrow morning, Nora.
Nancy Chen, thank you. Well, tonight the CDC is sounding the alarm about a record number of deaths in America from drug overdoses. For the first time ever, more than 100,000 deadly overdoses were recorded in the U.S. over a 12-month period that ended this past April. CBS's Manuel Bojorquez tells us what's fueling the troubling surge.
Tonight, a grim statistic. 1 American is dying from a drug overdose every 5 minutes, according to the Office of National Drug Control Policy. The CDC estimates more than 100,000 Americans died from drug overdoses over a 12-month period ending this April, a record. That's nearly 3 times the number of deaths from traffic accidents last year, and more than twice the number of gun deaths. Darian and Tawana House of Pensacola lost their 18-year-old son, Rajan, to an apparent drug overdose in July.
It's hard to even put in words the difficulty of me going on without my son.
They blame the availability of the opioid fentanyl, which is sometimes slipped into other drugs to increase potency.
Like what happened with our son, he didn't necessarily know what he was taking in. He thought it was just normally what he does on the regular as a teenager.
But it's not just affecting those who choose to use. Last month, an Alabama woman was arrested and charged after her 1-year-old daughter allegedly overdosed on her supply of fentanyl. The baby was revived by paramedics.
There you go.
The pandemic has been, in many ways, a perfect storm.
Dr. Michael Barnett teaches health policy at Harvard University.
We have a lot of work to do to expand access to life-saving treatments like naloxone or buprenorphine, which can really save lives in addiction, but are not widely available for people that need them.
Barnett says he does not see the crisis easing in the short term. Today, in a statement, President Biden called it an epidemic of loss and cited the $4 billion from the COVID-19 relief package, which are aimed at expanding services for people with substance abuse issues. Nora?
Those numbers are just staggering. Manny Bojorquez, thank you. Well, Moderna today asked the FDA to authorize its COVID booster shot for everyone 18 and over. The FDA could take that step for the Pfizer vaccine as soon as tomorrow. The White House, meanwhile, says 10% of kids 5 to 11, that's 2.6 million of them, have rolled up their sleeves for their first shot. All right, 2 of the 3 men convicted of assassinating Malcolm X more than half a century ago are about to be exonerated. The Manhattan DA today apologized to the 2 men, saying they did not get the justice that they deserved. CBS's Maurice Dubois has more on how history is being rewritten.
Muhammad Aziz and Khalil Islam always maintained their innocence in the 1965 assassination of Malcolm X.
The white man is cracking.
Now, after 55 years, their convictions will be vacated after a 2-year investigation led by the Manhattan District Attorney found prosecutors, the FBI, and police withheld critical information that should have cleared their names.
I do believe there'll be attempts on my life. They're foaming at the mouth.
The decision comes after this 6-part Netflix series called Who Killed Malcolm X raised new questions about Malcolm's assassination. He was killed in a barrage of bullets while speaking at the Audubon Ballroom in Harlem. The DA's office reopened the case to look at the men's convictions after the series was released.
2 of them weren't even in the Audubon Ballroom that day.
We sat down with Phil Bertelson and Nyla Sims, who produced the documentary.
The FBI had eyewitness testimony from
presumably the 9 informants that were in the room that day, about who did the crime.
A third man, Talmadge Hayer, confessed to the killing, but Islam and Aziz never did. Islam died in 2009. Aziz is now 83. He spent 20 years in prison.
If I wanted to do it, I couldn't have done it. So that means they knew what they were doing when they put me in jail.
And late today, Mohammed Aziz put out a statement saying, in part, I hope the same system that was responsible for this travesty of justice also takes responsibility for the immeasurable harm it caused me. And the decision to exonerate both men is expected to be officially announced tomorrow. Nora.
Maurice Dubois, thank you. And tonight we're examining what's behind the bottleneck at the nation's ports. CBS's Carter Evans goes in depth with a rare behind-the-scenes look at just why it's taking so long to get merchandise off of cargo ships and onto store shelves.
To truly understand the supply chain logjam,
nobody knew who we were. Longshoremen, what is that?
You have to start at the docks. Ramon Ponce de Leon represents the 14,000 longshoremen at the ports of LA and Long Beach.
Because there is no space in the yard, there's not that much we can offload.
You have nowhere to put the containers when they come off the ship.
That's correct.
That's because containers still waiting to be picked up are taking valuable space. This massive cargo ship holds about 5,000 containers. Normally, there'd be 4 to 5 cranes just like this one, unloading as fast as possible. But today, there are only 2. Crane operator Ricky McRae makes the daily ascent to his cab 14 stories up, but he says his container count is down more than 20%. When people say, why aren't the dock workers moving faster? What are you thinking?
Right away, I feel like I'm the bad guy, first of all, but hey, I tell them we're doing our part, we're doing our best.
He could easily unload faster if there were somewhere to put the containers. Why aren't there trucks lined up for miles to pick up all this stuff and get it out of here?
I suppose they don't have a place to put it because the container has become the warehouse with just-in-time delivery.
Just-in-time delivery is a cost-cutting strategy to import merchandise only as needed, reducing warehouse space, but that backfired with pandemic shutdowns. You may think these trucks line up and pick up the first load available. That is not the case. They are here for specific containers, and sometimes they're in the middle of the pile. It's like a giant game of Jenga. Move 4 containers to get to one on the bottom. Is that common?
Yes, it's very common.
Just for one container?
Yes.
And this year, dock workers expect to move a record 20 million containers through these ports.
We have family that lives here and needs the same things any other American needs. And we have skin in the game because, you know, quite frankly, we're going to be paying the price for any costs that are raised as a result of this congestion.
Now, some of these containers stacked up here at the port are actually empty. And today, California Governor Gavin Newsom said more ships are coming to get them out of the way. He also says he's looking for vacant lots to park some of these containers so it can give longshoremen room to do their jobs. Nora?
You really explained it so well. Carter Evans, thank you. And still ahead on tonight's CBS Evening News, dangerous weather ahead of Thanksgiving. What you need to know before you hit the road. Queen Elizabeth makes her first public appearance in nearly a month. And we want you to meet the pint-sized superhero who's conquering cancer.
Hey, little fella, big guy, you know we love you. But while our food has gotten healthier, your food hasn't really changed. With its powdered meat, spray-on flavor, and preservatives that make it last way too long. It's time for fresh meat and veggies. Real food with expiration dates that belongs in the fridge next to our food. Now, who's hungry? Fresh Pet, it's time for fresh.
What can I do with less asthma? With Dupixent, I can do more yard work, teamwork, long walks.
Game on!
That's how you do more with Dupixent, which helps prevent asthma attacks. Dupixent's not for sudden breathing problems. It's an add-on treatment for specific types of moderate to severe asthma that can improve lung function for better breathing in as little as 2 weeks. It can reduce or even eliminate oral steroids. And here's something important. Dupixent can cause serious allergic reactions, including anaphylaxis. Get help right away if you have rash, shortness of breath, chest pain, tingling, or numbness in your limbs. Tell your doctor if you have a parasitic infection, and don't change or stop your asthma treatments, including steroids, without talking to your doctor. Are you ready to do more with less asthma?
Hey, come on.
Just ask your asthma specialist about Dupixent.
Some holiday travelers may be extra thankful just to get to their turkey dinner next week. Forecasters are tracking a major storm that could bring snow, rain, and high winds from the upper Midwest to the Northeast and as far south as North Carolina and Tennessee. Even where skies are clear, airport security lines will be long. The TSA expects to screen 20 million passengers during the Thanksgiving break. All right, Queen Elizabeth made her first public appearance in nearly a month today. The 95-year-old monarch met with Britain's top military officer at Windsor Castle, and look, she appeared to be in good health. There has been concern about the Queen's health ever since an overnight hospital stay last month. A sprained back forced her to miss a ceremony for Britain's war dead on Sunday. All right, well, nothing is going to stop this young superhero from conquering cancer. His name is Noah, and he's just 2 years old. Just look at that joy as he celebrates his last day of chemo. Noah's had lung surgeries and even a liver transplant. His mom wrote on Instagram, "Hip, hip, hooray, last day of chemo is today." We are rooting for you, Noah. All right, coming up next, did a brush with Pope Francis heal a boy who was sick? His mom believes it was a miracle.
If you can't watch the CBS Evening News, you can listen. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Sponsored by Prudential.
Wonderful pistachios. Get your protein from a greener source. Wonderful pistachios, the original plant-based protein.
Feeling trapped by your expensive cell phone plan? Here's the key. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Keep your phone and number with the same great coverage as the big carriers. Escape to a no-contract $20 a month plan with talk, text, and data. It's easy to connect. With our award-winning customer support team, no sleight of hand is required. Call, go online, or visit Target to get your new SIM card or phone today.
If you have this, consider adding this. An AARP Medicare Supplement Insurance Plan from United Healthcare. Medicare Supplement plans help by paying some of what Medicare doesn't and let you see any doctor, any specialist, anywhere in the U.S. who accepts Medicare patients. So if you have this, consider adding this. Call United Healthcare today for your free decision guide.
Like you,
My hands are everything to me. But I was diagnosed with Dupuytren's contracture, and it got to the point where things I took for granted got tougher to do. Thought surgery was my only option. Turns out, I was wrong. So when a hand specialist told me about non-surgical treatments, it was a total game changer. Like you, my hands have a lot more to do. Learn more at factsonhand.com today.
Hey, Chicago, I love you, and I love this city, and I love you, Audrina. Welcome. So I came for a visit. Don't miss what we've got in store for you.
Tomorrow at 9 on CBS 2.
Reach. Throughout the pandemic, Pope Francis has spoken about the healing power of prayer. Now a mother whose young son recently met the Pope says there's nothing more powerful. CBS's Chris Livesay has the story.
It's not easy to upstage the Pope, unless you're Paolo Bonavita, the 10-year-old Italian boy enchanted by Francis and his cap. The Pope offered that seat as a compromise, but persistence pays, and Paolo walked away with the prize. It turns out simply going up and down the stairs was the real prize for a boy with severe epilepsy and autism, says his mom, Elsa Mora, especially after his health took yet a new turn for the worse. The doctor was almost certain it was a brain tumor, she says, but Francis told her he would pray for Paolo. He took my hand and said, "For you, the impossible does not exist." About 3 weeks later, she understood what that meant. She says doctors told her his test results showed no sign of cancer, and his symptoms have improved. His classmates are elated. He taught us a lesson, they say, that when you need to do something, do it with all your heart.
And what would you like to tell the Pope?
Thank you, she says, for the miracle. Chris Livesay, CBS News, Southern Italy.
And that is some good news. We'll be right back.
This portion of the CBS Evening News is sponsored by Novo Nordisk. Ask your healthcare provider about Ozempic today.
Is struggling to manage your type 2 diabetes knocking you out of your zone? Lowering your A1C with once-weekly Ozempic can help you get back in it.
My zone, lowering my A1C, CV risk, and losing some weight. Now, back to the game.
Ozempic is proven to lower A1C. Most people who took Ozempic reached an A1C under 7 and maintained it. And you may lose weight. Adults lost on average up to 12 pounds. In adults also with known heart disease, Ozempic lowers the risk of major cardiovascular events such as heart attack, stroke, or death.
Ozempic helped me get back in my type 2 diabetes zone.
Ozempic isn't for people with type 1 diabetes. Don't share needles or pens or reuse needles. Don't take Ozempic if you or your family ever had medullary thyroid cancer or have multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2 or if allergic to it. Stop Ozempic and get medical help right away if you get a lump or swelling in your neck, severe stomach pain, or an allergic reaction. Serious side effects may include pancreatitis. Tell your provider about vision problems or changes. Taking Ozempic with a sulfonylurea or insulin may increase low blood sugar risk. Side effects like nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea may lead to dehydration, which may worsen kidney problems.
Looking to get back in your type 2 diabetes zone? Ask your healthcare provider today about once-weekly Ozempic.
You may pay as little as $25 for a 3-month prescription.
And Doug.
Superpowers from a spider bite. I could use some help showing the world how Liberty Mutual customizes their car insurance, so they only pay for what they need. Did it work?
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Spider-Man No Way Home in theaters December 17th.
Seeing blood when you brush your floss can be a sign of early gum damage. Parodontax Active Gum Repair kills plaque bacteria at the gum line to help keep the gum seal tight. Parodontax Active Gum Repair Toothpaste.
Little one, you're gonna grow, and then you're gonna go. But I know, yes I know, you'll be okay. You'll be okay.
On tomorrow's CBS Evening News, in our Eye on America series, we'll tell you who's stepping up and taking the wheel amid America's trucker shortage, and we give it a go, too. And if you can't watch us live, don't forget you can DVR it. You got to see how that story turns out. All right, that's tonight's CBS Evening News. I'm Norah O'Donnell in our nation's capital. See you tomorrow. Good night.
Thanks, Road Warrior.
So long. Happy little blue car.
No matter what you call your car.
Goodbye, Speed Demon.
Or why you're letting it go, AutoNation will buy it, and you don't have to buy one from us. We're paying top dollar right now. So go to AutoNation.com or come see us for a super easy appraisal. Get paid on the spot, and you can deposit it the same day. Visit any AutoNation store or AutoNation.com. What drives you drives us.
Find the styles you'll love at Tom's Price Home. There has never been a better time to begin your design project with a Tom's Price designer. Start your project today with savings of 35% off living room, dining room, and bedroom furniture. Save 35% off all of your furniture purchases. Enjoy fantastic fall savings at all 4 Tom's Price home stores. Visit tomsprice.com for store locations and hours.
From CBS 2, this is Hour 18.
6 o'clock, Hour 18. Breaking right now.
I'm going to be asking the court for a mistrial.
Kyle Rittenhouse's attorney asking for a mistrial during day 2 of jury deliberations. The video at the center of the controversy.
Southside businesses hoping for a boon from a construction boom.
A lot of empty storefronts, as you can see.
Plans to expand the Red Line get back on track.
Spring-like temperatures today, but meteorologist Albert Ramon is tracking a big temperature crash that will have it feeling more like winter.
Breaking right now, arrests in what police call a murderous spree that began with the attempted armored truck heist in West Chatham on Monday.
3 people are dead. Let's get right to CBS 2's Tara Molina at Chicago Police Headquarters. Tara, 2 of those dead were suspects in the armored truck shooting. Exactly, Erica. An armored truck guard, LaShonda Hartz, was also shot and killed in that heist. Now police are telling us the 4 men involved in that deadly shooting also robbed a cell phone store and then turned on each other. 19-year-old Antoine Montgomery and 21-year-old DeAndre Jennings are the 2 men charged in 2 deadly shootings and the armed robbery of a cell phone store between those shootings, all during a crime spree Monday. It all started around 10:20 Monday morning. That's when LaShonda Hartz and the 46-year-old armored guard she was working with were shot by men trying to rob them while loading an ATM here in West Chatham. She was shot 6 times and pronounced dead at the hospital. Her partner shot twice and survived but hasn't been identified. Less than 2 hours after that deadly shooting in South Chicago, another shooting. 2 men shot and killed in a car here on South Saginaw, hitting another car, then a tree. One of the men killed, identified as 21-year-old Naquan Harper of Englewood. The other man hasn't been identified by the medical examiner, but now we know they were both believed to be involved in that deadly armored car shooting earlier in the day. As CPD Superintendent Brown puts it,
there's no honor among thieves. And after the robberies and murders, they got into an altercation with each other, and 2 are deceased and 2 are charged.
Antoine Montgomery and DeAndre Jennings ran into a house nearby. A resident called 911. SWAT and CPD surrounded the house. Eventually, they surrendered.
Thanks to the community for coming forward.
Now, the community made all the difference in arresting and charging these men, according to CPD. Not only that 911 call that led them to that house where the 2 men were barricaded inside, but also information that investigators were able to gather at the scene. We have checked in with LaShonda Hart's family on all of this. We've not heard back from them quite yet tonight. Reporting live outside CPD headquarters, I'm Tara Molina, CBS 2 News. Tara, thank you.